Welcome back to Sonic Frontiers. We still have like half of the shit to do on this island left.
This music's way too epic for the Coco bouncing around. Also, this game. Also, I played through this a bit on my Xbox, and seeing how smooth it runs here, and then trying to play the Xbox version, which is ass, is not good.
You need a Series X, my friend.
Dude, it feels like I'm playing Unleashed when I play this game. Like
Yeah.
it feels like I'm just always running through Adabat.
I
don't know
specifically
why.
I avoided the PS4, Xbox One editions of this game like the plague because I knew
I'm
they were
stuck
not
with
going to
them.
be great. Yeah.
I'll get a Series X eventually.
I'll
'cause
be
I want to play Unleashed 60 FPS.
I'll be perfectly honest. The main crux of me getting a PlayStation 5 was I know the next Sonic game's gonna be on it, so I'm gonna get it on the best console or one of the newer consoles so it runs the best.
Ah, you have a PC, damn it.
My PC is pales in comparison to my PS5. Okay, I'm playing this on PC, and oh my god, what the fuck?
That was interesting.
Yeah, Sonic doesn't move at all during those like sonar map filling out cutscene things. So if you're standing on a floating platform that falls, yeah, he'll still be in that spot.
Nice to know how this game is programmed.
Yep. Oh, fucking dash panel. Oh, hey, look, it's like a Mario 3D Land platforming section. And it's gone.
That's a shame.
I do like the Kronos Island aesthetic, though I'm looking at the horizon now, and just all the rails in the fucking sky is really disgusting.
I wouldn't mind them so much if they didn't pop in, because it's like if you could see them all across the map, I think that'd be cooler.
Well, the rails actually have proper LODs, so like lower detailed versions of themselves. So they don't pop in. The rails themselves don't pop in. It's the platforms and springs and everything else that pops in.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume though that they probably pop in as often as they do for forces. But because, generally in a traditional Sonic game you can hide that. Because you know where the player is going to be and what they're going to be able to see. But this is all open.
See, I don't know about, like, I know Forces has a very similar rendered distance, but it feels like in that game the only stuff that really pops in are like background physics objects that like you run into and they get destroyed or whatever. Because like you can, like, I'm specifically thinking of that like Imperial Tower stage in Forces where it's like all downhill with modern Sonic. You can see off very far, and I'm pretty sure you
Yeah,
can
but
see,
you only
like,
see a single straight line because it's corridor design. You know?
yeah, but like on those parts that I'm talking about where you like fly over the freaking stage because it's downward, I'm pretty sure you can see all the dash pads and springs and ramps and everything in that area. And at that point, it's like not too different from like what we're looking at right now.
Hi, Ghost. I saw it this time.
Yeah, that's the tower thing. It basically attaches to one, and you just side loop it, so it's kind of simple. But I also learned that the theme for this boss was made by Kenichi Tokoi. So that's why it's fucking amazing.
I really wanted to return as a sound director
Yeah.
so badly. Because Secret Rings is amazing. And so unique in many ways. But too bad they've decided to bring back Jun Sonoe for Black Knight. And I think it is a far inferior version to Secret Rings. I like Black Knight's soundtrack, I really do, but Secret Rings is the better. What the hell? This is cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's some Heroes design right there.
Ah, shit!
It's like you do that exact type of platforming in Heroes, and I love it.
Yeah, if you're on those like ring loops for too long, he has like a big vacuum that comes out and sucks more rings out of you.
Damn, I want more of them like this. This is good.
Yeah, the Ghost is like one of my favorite themes and one of my favorite Guardians by like a long shot.
Yeah. By the way, just to hump more love on Kenichi Tokoi, he returned to do the SCU colors tracks, and his tracks for Asteroid Coaster are easily the best ones. Because they're just re-recorded versions of the original tracks without much added. But in particular, he redoes a lot of the rhythm guitar tracks with a bass guitar, and it sounds sick. Especially, the one I'd recommend is Asteroid Coaster Act 3.
Gotcha.
His other track he could have returned for was the Terminal Velocity track, but Jin Sonoe adding his touch on that and his specific style of lead guitar was kind of perfect for that track. So I'm not gonna say he needed to return on that track too.
I would compliment the Sonic Colors Ultimate soundtrack if they didn't just completely fuck Sweet Mountain up the ass.
This is like the one way I will give it credit, because it does have a lot of issues. But hey, credit where credit is due. Asteroid Coaster and Terminal Velocity are really, really good. Planet Wisp, I think, is the most destroyed.
I mean, Planet Wisp is also completely annihilated. But Sweet Mountain was my favorite from Colors, so I'm particularly upset about that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
I always, when I'm doing like general playthroughs of this game, I always miss this Sage story. It's just kind of there. And I don't see
wonder
her.
If this is the one I missed at the end of the game.
You probably
I don't think I've ever seen this. Cool. Closure. Yay! I can finally watch the last dialogue.
So you
and you know what? This explains a lot about the Coco.
So you never completed this game. Got it.
I told you I didn't.
I thought. Well, you can go back
in the last Sage one.
You can go back into your damn save file.
And my save file was on the autosave.
Oh yeah.
And at that point, my cousin came over and was like, "Hey, you want to try out the new Sonic game?" So I started a new save for him.
Shaking my head.
Yeah.
Not a real fan. See, if that
for
happened,
my little cousin play a new Sonic game.
If that happened to me, then I would immediately just complete the game again.
Well, I've already explained my philosophy on replaying this game. It's not very strong.
It's actually like quite bad in a lot of ways, because the more I replay this game, I'm just like so incredibly bored.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like it's a bad game. I think they just had a good idea and did it in like the most boring, repetitive way they could have done it. Probably to save on development resources and time, if I had to guess. But
well, hey, Tomoyo Otani recently put out a tweet hinting at what he's working on, and apparently it's a lot. So either it's a new game or this DLC is going to have some really expensive material to it if he's got that many songs coming out.
I doubt. There ain't no way they're doing another game already.
Yeah.
I know we talked about this off camera, but like...
Well, hey, there's a lot of old Sonic Team staff that are only in very small roles here, which is something that's common to see when they were developing a lot of games at once. You would see them just as like special things or project support.
Well, then I would expect if they're working on another game, I would not expect it to be anything of this scope. Probably.
I don't know. These are the ones who made the good games.
Hope maybe it's a more traditional 3D Sonic game. Maybe.
Or maybe they'll be staffed, or maybe they'll be supporting Arzest a lot. I don't know, because Arzest may not be entirely making the new game by themselves, kind of like the Dimps games. it's Dimps did a lot of the groundwork, but it's mainly Sonic Team staff doing the directing and main programming and
It
such.
kind of, from interviews and stuff, Izuka has kind of said like, no, this is now Toshima's baby.
Hey, you know what? If he is making a game for the first time since CD, I'm okay with that. CD is a weird experiment, and I would like to see more.
The level design in Superstars does look very Sonic CD in a lot of ways.
We'll have to see, though. So far, I've only heard... I know there's a lot of controversy with some of the music. I don't know, though, how much of that is actually true, because the only track that's actually been officially released, which is the only one I've listened to, was really, really good.
Yeah.
Did you really need to get that Infinite Dash?
Well, yeah.
And it didn't even give you it.
It did.
Oh, you're going blue, that's right. Or no?
No, Infinite...
I guess it only appears when the dash meter appears.
Yeah. It's not just hovering there forever. That would be stupid.
I thought it did whenever you did it. Never mind.
Man, the rain makes this footage look even blurrier. Oh man, I fucked up. No.
I effed up a lot of these too. These were annoying.
It's very easy though, because like you just look at the one that's like at the bottom and has stuff stacked on top of it, and then go from there.
I'm not good at puzzles solving, and you know what? At least in Breath of the Wild, these were only Korok puzzles, so I didn't have to care.
What? Excuse me. I Psy-looped you.
I never saw it turn red.
But it did, because I got a fucking power seed from it, or a
clearly it
seed.
didn't, because it didn't work. And this game
I
is
did Psy-loop, though, because a freaking defense seed popped out of the ground.
Nope.
Right where that thing was.
Shenanigans.
This game just sucks. That's what I've learned.
Yep, worst game of all time. Sonic 06 is better.
Go! No!
It's always depressing when you think, oh, can I do a skip? Can I do a skip? Nope, it's just sending me back.
Nope. It's very easy to do stuff like that now with, what the fuck?
Magnetism!
That's Sonic's fucking gorilla glued feet. Yeah, that's something I wanted to fucking talk about, is like I'm sure we've actually mentioned it before, but like Sonic's physics in this in a lot of ways feel like game developers' first platformer control. Like, I don't know, like it doesn't help.
The guy who did the main programming on this game also did it for Forces, but not Lost World. It should be noted. He was not the one who programmed Lost World. Lost World, I believe, was done by the same person who did Unleashed and Gens.
And we talked about this off camera as well. It feels like the current gameplay programmer is just using what that guy left in place and slightly tweaking it.
Yeah.
Without actually knowing what makes it fun in any way. Because Forces literally just feels like a physics mod for Lost World.
It feels like they hired a gameplay programmer fresh out of college.
Yeah, and
which is like cool to see if they're hiring new people. Get them in the industry, but don't put them in the lead role. For God's sake.
He's like, it's sad to say, but he's just honestly not doing a very good job. Because there's a bunch of like issues with this game that you would not expect out of a professionally made 3D platformer, like Sonic retaining all of his speed when you run into a wall.
Now, I will say,
much like Sonic
I think
Genesis.
a lot of the new additions to the gameplay of this, I think, make up for it a bit more than Forces does. Because in Forces, the only really new gameplay physics contributions that were added was for the Avatar, and that's pretty basic. But in this, they're at least trying a bit more. It's just, I wish he would have come up with a new base game style first, and then before he added in the new stuff.
They are trying new stuff, and I appreciate that, but it does also feel like the whole physics slider thing was just a band-aid because he couldn't figure out good gameplay on his own.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll just give the player access to all the physics variables.
Yeah. Because again, they have an army of gameplay programmers for this.
Yeah, and it still turns out to feel very amateurish. Like, genuinely, I don't think a professionally made game would have like little bits of geometry on the ground that launch you into the stratosphere sometimes, but also other times they just kind of jitter you along the ground because Sonic is glued to the ground sometimes, but he's also not sometimes. And also there's just a lot.
It's kind of the opposite problem of Final Fantasy 13, which had a shit ton of artists, like 60 plus artists.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clear that they finished their job first, because that's the only like really absurdly polished aspect of that game.
Yeah.
And it's like the opposite here, where they have that army of programmers and artists, but neither aspect feels polished because, again, and I'm glad Kishimoto admitted this, they just did not have a solid foundation for a while. Which, you know, I'll be lighter on the game since they're, you know, pretty public about that stuff, but you gotta be critical, so hopefully they don't do this again.
Yeah. Also, before we get back to that conversation, I wanted to say that cyberspace stage is actually a Shadow the Hedgehog level.
Oh, which one?
Just randomly. I believe it's Central City.
Oh, the one I don't think I've actually played that stage yet.
It's the one
when we did our playthrough, I think you played it each time, and then on my own individual playthrough, I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Central City, I do like a lot. It's the one where you're chasing that like alien ship through a bunch of highways.
I thought it was the one where you had to defuse bombs.
No. Well, that might be what Central City is called. Hold on, let me look up a Shadow stage list. But it's
the one who simps on the game all the time.
I simp on it as a guilty pleasure. That doesn't mean I fucking know everything about it.
Nah. If that game were a VTuber, you'd subscribe to their membership.
Let's see. But yeah, there's just a lot of just. I really don't understand how this game it feels like they took the Forces code, tweaked the physics, but then we're like, we can't find something that's like super satisfying, so we'll add physics sliders because our fans are never happy with what we do, and we're never happy with what they do because it's just bad usually. Like, it doesn't feel like the current programmer understands.
I see it as a good attempt to ease people into it a bit more. But because they also have speed upgrades, and because the speed meter, I'm pretty sure only really controls and affects your base ground speed when you're not boosting. It doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Because even when it's all the way full, you have very nice, easy control over Sonic for any precision, but it's not fast enough to really affect anything.
You can like make the physics feel very similar to Sonic Forces if you really want to.
I don't want that either.
Like, it's basically you're sliding between Forces and Lost World control. And that's
pretty what? I'd rather have this game's control than Forces control.
Well, yeah, like I harp on it a lot, but like they did make some general improvements to Forces' basic control. At least for the open zone, I think Cyberspace actually controls worse than Forces.
I still have more. Well, nah, I have more fun with Forces stages. They're just over too fast.
Yeah. The only times I have a lot of fun in Cyberspace are when they have a brand newly designed 3D stage that feels like it's designed for the control of this game. But there's only like 8 new stage layouts out of the 30 Cyberspace stages, and half of those are like 2D. So
I want the daytime stages on your back from Unleashed for the sequel, and just have them only for Cyberspace.
If we could, we would just
levels.
If we could, we would just have the Sonic team staff that did fucking Generations and Unleashed make a new Sonic game. Like, that's all I've wanted for a long time.
Hey, you know what? There's that potential leaked game, and that could be what it is, if they're still around.
Dude, then that
game would fucking... Sega or not.
That game would fucking clear this game in every way if that's the case. Like, in the same way that I think Generations clears Colors, but like on a way grander scale. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you know, we can dream, I guess.
We can always dream.
Anyways, the cyberspace stage from before was Lethal Highway. That's my bad. It's the one where you're chasing down like this alien ship thing, and there's also motors. Like the parts of the cyberspace stage that actually are from Shadow the Hedgehog are mainly just the highway parts where you can hop on a motorcycle and run away, but that's why it's a skateboarding level. It's because it's supposed to be like you're on the motorcycle, I guess.
Slot machine.
Fuck. I'm doing this because we will be doing a lot of fishing.
Cool.
Oh,
you
wait.
got rid of the bees. Now we can map. Isn't that interesting?
I already have 200 memory tokens. I might not even need to do this, to be honest. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I recorded this.
Who knows? We're almost done. I'll sit through whatever.
Yeah.
Are you gonna drown?
No. The drowning in this game is lame. There's no drowning music. Or 5, 2, 1, 5 countdown thing.
But I'm gonna send this in the Discord real quick because I don't want to say it over this, but I have a request for one of your future playthroughs.
You could just wait till after this part.
I'm gonna forget.
But I think this game looks really fucking good at nighttime, because like you get all the cool lighting from Sonic's attacks and everything.
It depends on the island. If it's Chaos Island, not really, but
well, I
think
mean,
Kronos
you still get
and
like
Ares
the nice,
look pretty good.
You still get like the nice blue lighting from all of Sonic's moves, which is something that Forces actually did, but you never really get to see it because the closest thing we get to nighttime in that game is the jungle level, and in that level you're just boosting.
Well, it's also
time.
super bright. It's lit up
around
everywhere.
around Sonic. It isn't like Sonic is kind of shrouded in darkness because it's like neon lights, so they don't really illuminate things around them very much. Oh my god, there's so much rock candy.
Oh, this is like my favorite section of this song. It's so good.
Oh yeah,
This is just the first Kronos theme, the Starfall Island stuff.
Yeah, this is just the Starfall Islands theme song at this point.
Yeah, it's so good.
It is.
I'm
It's
glad
not my
this game
favorite,
is more
though.
piano driven.
I don't remember if we get to it this part, but the movement at the beginning of next part I think is my favorite for Uranus.
Yeah, this game gives me a lot of Final Fantasy 13 vibes, where they use a lot less rhythm heavy in series or in traditional music for the series, and go for more piano driven and somber stuff, with more atmospheric, and I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But,
it is kind of
13,
something.
because 13 does the same thing.
It is kind of something for me though that I'm like, I kind of miss the musical vibe that other Sonic games have that this game can't have because it's going for a mysterious somber vibe the whole time, and then when you get to cyberspace it's just like EDM music, which is good, but it doesn't have like recognizable melodies or like anything.
Well, this is why I'd love to see something as like a return to Unleashed, where the open zones, are big hub areas, but the cyberspace stages aren't actually in cyberspace, so we can have different types of music again. Because the soundtrack is pretty limited compared to others.
Even though it's
about
like
as limited as
long.
Forces, because it just does the same things
over
the
and
whole
over
game.
and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, compared to like 06 and Unleashed and Colors, which try a lot of different forms of music.
We talk about how this game is like not really replayable, But it's not just that. It's also like the most repetitive Sonic game like ever.
Yeah, even in the music.
Keeps repeating itself over and over. Like each island takes at least like 3 hours on your first playthrough, but it's like the same thing for each of those 3 hours.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of fun for that initial playthrough. Like I don't really have much complaints when I first played this game, but anytime I try to replay it, it just hits me in full swing. It's like, oh, I gotta do all this again.
Like on your first playthrough as well, like you don't necessarily notice all the major design issues. Like you'll probably be like, oh, that's weird, but you won't really really notice them until like you've played it a lot and you're like used to the control and the physics and like have a better understanding of how the game is put together. It's like I think one little thing that they could have done to make this game exponentially better is just fucking make the ground like they could have it look the same, but make it like physically smoother, like with the collision at least. Because Sonic games have always just had smooth ground collision for every game. This is the only game that has like weird rocks everywhere that stop your movement. And it's like I know they were trying to make it realistic, but they also made it play worse doing that.
I forgot that this existed. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember this at all. Okay, that was a thing.
I think you have to do this for a cyberspace stage.
You do have to do it. I just don't remember it. I think it's the only time you do it.
Did you do all the cyberspace stages on this one?
Yeah.
There's 9 of them, which is
weird.
I
made sure I went to all. Okay. Though I think no, you have to beat all of them to start No, you can start teleporting to I think any of them once you get the big one. No, so maybe I just teleported to this.
It's once you get the map completed, then you can teleport to.
Oh well. Is there a map area over here?
Then you can teleport. There's a few of them over here, but you can. This one's already activated. Or wait, was it? No, it wasn't. I just put cyberspace gears into it. Never mind.
Oh well, I would have had to have gone to this because I know I beat all the cyberspace.
But you can once you fill the map, even if you haven't completed a cyberspace stage, as long as you've interacted with it and activated it, you can teleport to it. Oh, I love this one. I love this stage a lot. I think the music hits really well for this one.
I heard the first note and just thought Dreams of an Absolution. Now I want a version of this game with that song playing in every cyberspace stage. It get annoying real fast, but I love it.
This one's just got like a lot of fun platforming. There's a good like diverging pathway system right here.
Oh, I guess you could put Ungravitify into. That would work for this.
Yeah. I love the city aesthetic in this game in general, but I also love it at night specifically. It looks. I think this stage. This is probably one of my favorite cyberspace stages easily. And yeah, it's one of the brand new designed ones.
What are the tanks supposed to be? Are they like gun?
Gun in this game is represented by tanks and helicopters. Which is kind of
Are they more effective than the mechs? You guys could have just used the Generations mech models.
Yeah, they could have. Considering they used
those things look so fucking good.
Considering they used the Gens models for freaking all of Green Hill, Chemical Plant, and Sky Sanctuary in this game. For the enemies and the actual stage itself.
Well, you know what? Those models look better than the Forces models. So.
I think they wanted to differentiate it a little bit because the city aesthetic in this game is a new aesthetic. So I don't think they wanted to use the city escape enemies because they were trying to make it more unique, I guess. I don't know.
Then I wonder if they inserted the other stage design, the other stage models, so they had just something to work off of instead of just blank geometry, and they were trying to do more new assets, but then they ran out of time.
No, I really just think cyberspace was like not a last minute addition, but like they added it in like
Well, it's clearly there because they're not entirely confident in the new gameplay style.
Yeah, they clearly did that, and I think because of that, it was kind of just thrown into the game. So they were just like, yeah, let's reuse art assets from Generations because they kind of match the realistic style while also still being Green Hill and stuff. And then we'll also just take stage layouts from previous games because
Whoa.
it's
That
Sonic's
wasn't
memories.
supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's Sonic's glued feet again. Yeah.
They also played Metroid Dread before while designing this game and thought, oh, hey, we can have him climb on walls.
Or they just were like, hey, he could do that in Lost World.
But people didn't like Lost World, so we can't just bring back that system.
Yeah, which is why they made it lamer.
Yep.
Oh god, it's the hardest challenge yet. You have to parry 3. Ugh.
Oh no. I hope you're holding those long enough in advance.
Nah, that was impossible. I just got lucky.
Dude, if that parry worked like Dark Souls, that'd be so satisfying to pull off.
Oh yeah. So for the audience, I started playing Elden Ring like yesterday for the first time. And if you've watched our Dark Souls commentary, you'll know that I am not a Souls fan. But I cannot.
Elden Ring does play differently. Everything's more aggressive.
I cannot, for the life of me, parry anything.
It is hard. It's hard to get the timing down.
I'm always swinging like either way before or way after, never in between.
Unfortunately, a good way to practice is Silver Knights from Dark Souls. But you're not playing Dark Souls, so get fucked.
No. But hey,
at least
look,
some of these challenges get a little more unique here, but I wish
this
they
is
started
like
out like
also
this.
this is also like extremely lame. It's just a ball falling from the sky. Like,
But I wish they could have started out with these in Chronos and then worked up from there, and it probably would have been a lot better.
I would rather have like instead of all these map challenges, or like instead of all these puzzles, just like have like a tiny cyberspace portal that takes me to like a mini challenge of some sort, like maybe a combat challenge, maybe a little platforming challenge, something like that, like
Or
pretty
more
much how
just
Mario
caves.
Odyssey does it.
Just more caves.
Yeah,
And little challenge areas. It would have been better.
yeah, I really kind of hope they lean into that for the next game.
Maybe
But-
Update 3 will do it. Probably not, but hey, one can dream. Trying to be real hopeful.
Dude,
here.
I just had this thought, going back to a conversation we were having earlier, where it was like, oh, maybe all the Gens and / Unleashed guys are actually working on another game. I like to think that like the gameplay programmer like sees the code base for like forces or whatever they use as a base for that game, and he's like, what the hell? It's just the same as Lost World. They didn't change anything.
You stole my work.
These motherfuckers.
One can be hopeful.
I really gotta wonder what that game could be, though, because you're right that like someone like a credible leaker recently said there is another Sonic game coming next year. So I have no fucking clue, to be honest. I don't think it's an open zone game. No way. Because they were probably working on it at the same time as this, if I had to guess. So they didn't know if this was going to be a success or not. But I don't know.
Also,
Also,
just be hopeful.
also this cyberspace stage, it's really hard to actually get everything in one run, but I managed to do it in this run purely by accident.
Yeah, this one has a ton of branching paths, which I went on first and got almost no red rings on the stage.
Yeah, you have to be on the bottom path first, and then work your for the first 2 red rings, and then after that, get to the top path as soon as you can.
Yeah, in that sense, I kind of like it because it actually felt like a gen stage where I'd have to explore and get red rings. But
Yeah, I do.
this game's ranking system just doesn't really encourage it fully.
Before this game came out, I had the idea that maybe cyberspace would like sort of rank you on whether or not you could get the challenges done all in one run. So like getting the challenges done all in one run would result in an S rank and something like that. I think that that would actually be quite fun for a future game.
Yeah.
Kind of similar, not exactly, but kind of in a way similar to the SA2 ranking system where you have to like kill enemies, you have to get a bunch of rings, you have to get the golden beetle and stuff like that. Like
I mean, Unleashed does that to a decent extent as well. It just doesn't have as many trick options, which pretty much fully disappear after SA2. Because in Heroes, it's pretty much just relying on have all your rings and just use your team blast at optimal points.
Yeah,
so there's
Heroes
no tricks.
Well, Heroes ranking system, I would argue, still has some of that SA2 DNA. Like, there's still the enemy combo points and stuff like that. There is like those combat encounters, but like when you use the team blast and stuff, it kind of feels like an SA2 stage, but longer in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Not quite as
I
stylish.
will say it's incredibly fun to do that with Team Chaotix, because when they do their team blast, they get rings based on how many enemies you kill. And if you kill large enough groups of enemies, you get enough rings that as soon as that meter's down, you have another use of it.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
You only really get to utilize this on the robot challenge areas and those boss fights.
Yeah.
Because their scoring system is almost always based on time. So it's just kind of useless. But you can rack up so many rings, and the one level where you need a high ring count, Casino Park, there's barely any enemies, so you can't even do it. And it's such a missed opportunity. Because you can get so many rings with them, and it's absurd and really satisfying to get. It just does not affect your score, because you're usually going to be as fast with time based.
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, I agree with that. I think Heroes has, like many Sonic games, some missed potential in a lot of ways like that.
Yeah.
But also, like, continuing on the ranking systems discussion, like with many things with current Sonic Team, I just don't think I think they just think speed is all that matters in Sonic games. And that kind of sucks. I mean, Generations did that, but Generations skill ceiling is also like infinitely high, so you can keep getting faster and faster times, even if you already have a really fast time. So this game, it doesn't really feel like that.
At least in Lost World, they just kind of learned to drop it, but even then, despite dropping it, they still have lives. So that just kind of defeats the whole purpose of it.
Well, the Lost World also
it's like if it served like secret rings where you don't have lives, so because you're probably gonna die a lot, but it won't affect your score much because your score is mainly time based in that game. But then in Lost World, they just take score out completely, but still give you lives. So it's like, well, what is this helping with?
It's not entirely true, because Lost World does have rankings in time attack mode, so it is basically just the Generations method again. But I also think that Lost World has a much higher skill ceiling than this game does. So getting fast times on that is actually quite satisfying. Once you understand the unorthodox control scheme, I guess. But I don't know. Playing Lost World normally though, where you're just like gathering animals and like doing platforming and stuff, I do enjoy that as well, but it doesn't quite scratch the same itch as like exploring around and platforming in like the classics, the classics. There's not a lot of games that feel that way, to be honest.
It feels like they're trying to do something like Crash Bandicoot, but it's not satisfying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't need a linear Sonic game with collectathon elements. Like, I think the Red Rings are a fine enough job for that, to be honest. But I don't know. They need. I like when the red rings are like actually hidden and a challenge to get.
Yeah, I do hope that they at some point bring back the Forces Red Ring system and have different tiers of them with different challenges. So I think that's a
Mhm.
great way to add longevity to it.
Yeah, maybe the game that the other half of Sonic Team is currently working on is just Forces 2, but like actually good.
Yeah, though here's the thing: if it depends on how it's how much people they have, what the scope is, because it could also turn out at like this, just with more ambition.
See, I'm thinking it's gonna be a smaller scope game, just more high quality. you know,
Yeah, I should add this is
hopefully.
all based on speculation on a
Yeah,
potentially true or untrue leak, and based on
the development staff of this game being weird.
yeah, it's so don't stake any claims on this, please.
Yeah, like we are
I would be happy to be wrong. I'd be happy to be
we
right.
we are very
It
much
is what it is.
speculating, but it's also like at this point in the Sonic Frontiers commentary, we're just at the point where we're ready for the next game. And that's
Yeah,
kind of sad, because like that's been like the whole
and I'll have more things to say about this game in the next part.
yeah. But like that's been like the whole thing we've been talking about since part 1. It's like a lot of the praise for this game is wow, it's a good step in the right direction. I can't wait for the next game.
Yeah, this game leaves a ton of hype, not for replaying it, but for what can come next.
Yeah.
And what I'm hoping for Update 3 to be is a glimpse of what this team can truly do. I don't know if it will be like that, but they have had a whole year to work on it. Just that update.
Yeah, because
So
they
even if it's just a single new island, I think a year to develop a whole new island can hopefully do a lot of wonders.
it's quite possible that update 1 and 2 were just like things to hold us over for this big update 3 that most of the team is still working on, because update 1 and 2 were just small and like a very small team could have worked on those.
Yeah.
They update 3 could have like most of the staff uh for this game working on it. Maybe not most of it, but like a big chunk of it.
They have
And
an army of programmers and they have an army of artists. And I hope they're all used. Fuck.
well, I mean, they could already be onto a different project. You never know. But like, it would be really nice if like update 3 is just like this massive expansion, and I don't know. I think it could be, but I'm also like keeping my hopes down because like
I saw you trying to skip this.
nah,
You're like filling up the skip meter. I'm like, don't you do
see,
it, boy. Don't you do it.
while playing this, I remember this vividly. I was like, oh my god, I don't care about these. I've already watched them in my first playthrough, but I have to watch them for the stupid commentary. Ah.
This is why I listen to podcasts while I play these games.
Yeah, see, that's also kind of a bit of a criticism I'll have for this game is that yeah, I like to play this game while I'm watching something or something else, but other Sonic games don't make me feel that way. Like
Yeah.
like other Sonic games hold my attention even if they're like forces and they're like bad. They still like they're my main focus while I'm interacting with them. Sonic Frontiers like the most fun I get out of Frontiers now is just going back to the islands and just running around. But like that inherently has like less replay value than most other Sonic games, sadly.
Okay, I want to question design choices here. Why is the camera cut away? Why could we not just see this happen from our view? Why is the camera? I like having an open world for this, but it's always distracting how often the camera will break away from you.
Well, that's just a big problem with this game in general.
Yeah,
Like they move the camera, they lock it in place sometimes. They like it's
I don't
not
mind that as much. It's just completely taking control away and intentionally slowing down this process. Because
Yeah.
This would be so much more fun and fluid if I could just side loop them all in order and watch them all fall into place without
Literally-
having to wait 5 seconds every time for that stupid fucking camera.
Yeah,
Instead of making that a 2-minute process, and those were the worst.
Literally every other puzzle in this game, unless it's like this where it has like the lead up shot before, you know, where it shows you like, oh, this is a skydiving thing, or oh, whatever. Like that's the only one that repeatedly stops your progress while you're doing it.
If there was anything else I could wish for in some of these progress updates, is add a feature to just turn off some of the camera lead ups and just leave it to pure gameplay. You know, I get it if it's ones that affect where Sonic's position is, or have to require some loading and such in between things. Alright, I get that has to stay, but some of these others, you're not doing any loading that you can't do while the game is running.
Yeah.
But it'd be if that happens, it'd be nice. If it doesn't, I guess it's not the biggest end of the world. It would just make the replay of this a lot easier.
This is like the one commentary I think we have been in like full agreement on like everything about this game.
For the game, yes. Not that shadow talk we had.
Well, you're just wrong with that, but whatever. But yeah, like I don't know, like I think I can definitely see why people are like, nah, this game is like hardly better than Forces, because in a lot of ways it is hardly better than Forces. But I don't know. Like that, I think.
I think Ambition makes this so much better than Forces already. That's why I'd rather play 06 over Forces.
Yeah, but like Forces is definitely more replayable than this game.
Replayable, yes. But
See,
that first ever playthrough and that first big experience always sticks in my head, you know?
Yeah, I can agree there. Like, my first experience with this game was not a complete and utter disappointment like Forces was. Because, like, Forces did the whole thing where it's like, oh, it's developed by the team that made Colors and Generations. Even though, Colors and Generations had 2 different teams.
And it's mostly the Colors team.
Yeah.
It's some of the staff from Gens, but not enough.
But like,
they like wiped out half of the team. They like wiped out 80% of the Gens team, and combined that last 20% with the Colors team, and that's what these feel like.
See, yeah, I agree, but like back on the whole like Ambition thing, for a little bit, like it feels like they did say like, oh, we're aiming for high review scores with this game. And I think that just meant like, oh, let's chase some trends, and not so much, let's genuinely try to make an interesting and good new gameplay style. It's just...
This is why I'm always fascinated by ambitious games that fail, because I love seeing the ambition in the attempt, and I love seeing where it went wrong. I'll always find them more fascinating than just a boring game.
Yeah.
That's why I have such a weird obsession on 06 or Final Fantasy 13, Mighty Number 9, Other M, because they all fascinate me on their ambition and where it failed, versus other games that directed their ambition correctly.
Yeah. And to go with that, I don't necessarily think this game feels super ambitious. It's definitely more ambitious than other Sonic games as of late.
Real quick, I want to say this because this will be my last time to ever say this, but the hacking minigame track here was like one of the only few tracks in this game composed by a veteran of the Sega Sound team who has been with the company since the fucking 80s. But his only ever worked on Sonic game was it may have been it was Sega Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh wow.
And he did the music for he did this track. And that's kind of it. But he's just been with the company since the 80s, though to be fair, he does at this point primarily just do training for new sound team members. It was kind of like that mentor and that veteran.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was really funny when I found that out.
Yeah. Wow, the only other Sonic game he worked on is the only Sonic game I haven't played.
And you know what? I like the hacking minigame track. It is unique and it's fun.
I don't remember it.
Well, I went through a listen to it after I learned this. I'm like, yeah, this ain't bad. But I didn't remember it either. Because it barely appears.
Yeah.
And when that gameplay style reappears at the end of the game, it has a completely different track that's way, way more memorable.
Mm-hmm.
And like my favorite track from this game. So.
But
we got a bridge now.
Yeah, back on like the ambition thing though. It's like,
oh yeah,
definitely this game feels more ambitious than other Sonic games, but at the same time it feels like it takes the open world idea for Sonic and plays it as safe as it possibly can.
Yeah, it's a shame because this is from the same team who did, a lot of the same people who did Secret Rings and Black Knight, which have a ton of ambition while working under strict limitations, and I feel like they held that better. So it's always a bit boggling that between this and Forces, despite having more hardware or less hardware limitations, they were still unable to find a correct way to really utilize their ambition.
Yeah. Well, it's also like with Secret Rings and like Black Knight and stuff, like those games are much different than this, so they can kind of go wild with like the art design more and stuff. But I feel like this game could have done that, but just to a lesser extent. It really just doesn't. Like the biggest thing with this game's art style is that we're doing hyper realism now.
This doesn't even feel hyper realistic though. It just feels like a weird in-between, and it feels very close to the art style of Nier Automata, but Nier Automata works because of its tone. So it can have the hyper-realism with weird anime characters, but because of its tone, it really fits. And it has a much stronger art direction.
See, I would argue that this game is going for hyper-realism. It's just the fact that it still has a lot of technical graphical issues that hold it back from looking like hyper-realism. Like it's not.
I will
like
say it is a better
mixed-in
attempt at
game.
realism than whatever the hell 06 was trying for, but at least that still had a stronger art direction of where it wanted to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think 06 looks way more distinct from this game, at least. Like it has its own visual identity in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's just the visual identity wasn't very good. And there's that. I believe the art director on that game only worked on that game.
I would argue that it looks really good in PO6. Where he's slightly updated.
It looks good in stages.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, no.
Well, everywhere else is all the stuff that isn't in PO6 yet, so.
Just stop being a chaos. Just admit you're a Chaos X simp and let's get over this.
Yeah, he hates Heroes, so he's like the most correct.
Everybody
Sonic
hates Heroes, but everybody takes huge inspiration from Heroes.
Ian Flynn.
Like Feppard.
Well, yeah. It's because
I
Heroes
think
has
it's funny
good
when you
art
play
direction.
ATS and you run through the credits. Yeah, it starts with, so I really hate the game Heroes, but like every stage in this is inspired by Heroes.
Well, that's because Heroes just has a really strong visual identity, I think. Like a really strong art style. It feels very like it feels like a perfect hybrid between like classic era visuals and the adventure era more anime-esque vibe, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh yeah,
We can both not know together and finish out this commentary.
this is also another really good cyberspace stage because it's
Good
also
transition.
one of the brand new 3D levels, and yeah, this one's just really fucking good. There's some like segments in here that you like never see in a Sonic stage, and like it's not even in a bad way. It's like just interesting. Like this platforming section here.
This feels straight out of Cityscape.
Cityscape does not have like Mario-esque avoid the spikes, get the collectibles platforming section.
I was talking about the first part I saw.
I was talking about that platforming section there.
Oh, whatever.
Because that's. But there's a lot of like this is a rail stage for this game.
I want more rail
you know what?
stages. I miss them.
I'm so confused why.
It's like the one thing Lost World did right. Is that's like my favorite rail stage ever.
I'm so confused why this game still even has rainbow rings, because they don't do anything different in cyberspace, at least, than the orange dash rings.
Well, at least in Unleashed, they would give you a score bonus and maintain your speed.
Yeah, but
if you
score
had boost
doesn't
going.
fucking matter in this.
Yeah, so they don't really do anything different. They just make you twirl and have a sound effect.
Well, the orange dash rings also make you twirl in this game.
Yeah. And
but yeah,
then,
like okay,
and Colors or not Colors. Adventure 2 and Heroes. They just mainly added. They would send you flying further and would add to your score as a trick bonus.
Back on this stage for a minute. This platforming section here is specifically kind of what I'm talking about when, like, we don't really see level design like this ever in 3D Sonic games, where it's just like kind of straight up focused on the platforming element.
Maybe these people are working on Update 3.
I hope so. If there's new cyberspace stages in Update 3, I really hope whoever designed these new ones designs them, because like honestly, these feel like a perfect hybrid between Sonic Adventure gameplay and boost gameplay, which is kind of what the physics of this game feel like, and I'm here for that. That's what I was hoping for with like a new gameplay style for this fucking game. Like something as good as like Generations, but like not the same as Generations. But this game just doesn't end up doing that for me personally, at least. But there are like glimpses of what this game could be, and I think some of these cyberspace stages really show that. Yeah, because like no other Sonic game also has you like you have to hit this switch to open the way forward in the same way. Like in like the Werehog stages, it has that sometimes where you have to hit a switch to open a door. But like in a speed-based Sonic stage, they never really do that sort of thing where you like if you're speedrunning it, you have to be in a very specific place at a very specific time in the stage to make sure you're getting the best time. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. But that's like as far as like the creative design gets for these games, for this game specifically.
Right.
It's just kind of like because they're working with what they got, you know. It's just a bunch of stock assets. So they can't really go too crazy with it, but these new stages, I think they try, at least.
Well, again, hopefully Update 3 helps. But we won't know until we get it by the end of this month.
Oh, damn it!
And I still need to get another complete save file of this game so I can play it.
You better fucking hurry.
If you get 999 rings, do you get the special boost in this?
No. I don't. I also don't think it's physically possible to get.
I know, so I wonder if it is still in there. But because you can never get 999 rings, they just didn't take it out.
Well, it is. I don't think it was there because they added the power boost as an option, as an unlockable ability for cyberspace.
So they did?
In Update 1. Yeah, if you do the cyberspace challenge and you S rank all of it, you get power boost in cyberspace.
Is it good?
It makes it a lot faster, and if you combine that with the spin dash from Update 2, it actually makes the cyberspace gameplay here feel very distinct from other boost games. And you know, it's a lot of fun. Like you use the spin dash to drift around corners. The
This
power
is definitely from the people who made Secret Rings, where they take your good control and make you work for it.
yeah, because power boost and spin dash are like post game unlocks pretty much. So
Let's just be hopeful. It'll be out
I don't want to wait till 2024.
probably by the time we're like right before, like right after we release the last part of this, right?
Yeah, it's coming out like I think part 10 will go up, and then like 3 or 4 days later, update 3 comes
We're
out.
cool. We don't have to worry about spoiling it in the last part. We'll be good.
Yeah, we won't be talking about. We won't be able to talk about update 3.
See, this will be nice when when people go back and watch it, because then they will have no expectations for update 3, and then we can finally just dump it all in. It'll be nice.